green Infect deck. So there comes a Glistener Elf. There's so many ways Steven can actually deal with this card. He's got Fiend Spitter, he's got Guest Verdict, he's got 2 Flames of the Firebrand. Oh wow, Steven even has a Murder in his main. He's like, I just want a removal spell that kills everything.
Yeah, wow, Steven's deck is mono removal. That's going to be really tough for Scott to deal with.
Yeah, Scott just draws and says go, doesn't have any more Infect creatures. It's not a great place where you want to be. Zombies surprisingly has a pretty good matchup against Mono Green Infect, I think. Some
really,
draws,
I mean, it depends how much removal the zombie deck plays.
Yes. So Sign and Blood's going to give Steven some more card advantage. The life loss is irrelevant against an Infect deck. And here comes a Grave Crawler. So Fume Spitter's still back there, protecting everything. Not only does that have can deal with an Infect creature that Scott doesn't even have, but Steven also has 2 more removal spells in hand. So this is going to be a tough game for Scott to win. He's already down to 9. Wow. Gravecrawler and a Messenger. This game is all but over. Scott's going to draw a card and then scoop him up.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the game. Wow. Steven just showed Scott exactly what zombies can do to beat up on an Infect deck. But let's see what Scott has in his sideboard. He has 3 Spell Skites, which are very good in this matchup. They definitely help.
Reasons, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely help against a lot of the removal. Like Tragic Slip has a tough time killing something. Fume Spitter, especially one of the best cards against Mono Green Infect. That is actually going to just like put a counter on Spellskite and not do anything. There's another Mental Misstep that I kind of like Mental Misstep in this matchup because it deals with the Tragic Slips, because it deals with the Fume Spitters. The best removal are in those slots, Gut Shots, anything like that. I definitely like having Mental Misstep in this matchup. But other than that, there's not a lot. There's a Grafdigger's Cage, which is interesting, a Ground Sale. I'm kind of curious what Scott likes to bring those in against. I tend to not like to play cards in Infect that have no relevance to what your task is.
And that's reasonable. Ground Steel's a cantrip, so
you can get a little value
really,
off of it, yeah.
Not really the worst thing in the world if you're a deck that actually can use that properly,
But see, a Grafdigger's Cage, for instance, even though it's perfect against a Black-Red Zombies deck, you're not trying to kill their zombies, so you're not going to get the full value out of the card.
Yeah, I mean, you're not actually trading back and forth with them.
So no, you're trying to race and maneuver your way.
Quickly.
Yep, trying to maneuver to get into a position where you can actually just get that lethal in underneath or over the top of Steven. Grafdigger's Cage isn't really part of that game plan, so very curious what he brings that in against. Maybe he thought mulch strategies like Frights was going to be more popular and just want a silver bullet for that matchup.
I mean, you were trying to get people to play decks with Unburial Rites.
I do like Unburial Rites. I really like Unburial Rites as a card right now. That and Elish Norn and Faithless Looting are some of my favorite things to be doing right now. My 5-color control deck did not do well, but during my break, well, I guess Ruben will be the one doing the break, so I don't know if I can do a deck tech. I will try to do a deck tech. Don't think I'll be able to do it. But we might be able to get me to deck tech a deck that was in the tournament, but is no longer. It's kind of strange to get a commentator to do a deck tech with his own deck, but we'll see what I can do.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think Choi's going to let me. He's just sitting over here being like, nah, dude, you're not that cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe 2010 you could have done whatever you want, but not anymore. Get back to work, stop looking at me. That's the face he's giving me right now. All right, so.
I mean, I think Steven is pretty well ahead here. The Shatters, I think, are pretty good, too.
Real Shatter?
I'd bring Shatter in.
You mean Smelt? Does he actually have Shatter?
Just Shatter.
Why would you Shatter and not Smelt? Mental Misstep? Do you want to protect against Mental Misstep? Is that an actual justifiable reason? Or does he just not know that Smelt exists? Or maybe he didn't know he couldn't get his hands on him? That is a question no one will ever be able to answer. We could ask him, but I'd rather just leave that one up to the mystery of the game.
But I mean, they're really good here.
They are good.
Saying.
They are very good because Scott does have. It is a green deck and it is Infect, but he actually only has 4 elves, Glistener Elves, and everything else is an artifact. He has Ichormere and he has Inkmoth Nexus, are both artifacts. One of my favorite cards in this matchup is Ancient Grudge for that reason, because it just has so much power at killing 2 different artifacts. Or if they have an Apostle Blessing, you still can get rid of that creature next turn. So anyone at home that has Ancient Grudges, make sure to bring them in against Mono Green Infect, even though it is a green deck with Glistener Elf. Alright, so these players are getting ready to take opening hands for game 2. Scott's going to be on the plate because he's down a game. Let's see if Steven can actually draw such a powerful hand like he did last game. Scott also just needs more ways to put creatures into play. You definitely want more infect creatures than pump spells in this matchup, but Scott is going to take a mulligan, and so is Steven. So both players are going to be even at 6 cards each.
These players going downstairs. I think that's better for Steven than it is for
Yes.
Scott. And Scott's the type of deck where it's kind of like a combo deck. You know, you need different pieces and you need them to align properly for your deck to function in the way that it needs to.
That is for sure. And especially Steven is fine with the games going slower. With both players mulliganing, that means... It's funny that it works this way, but because both players get less cards to start the game with, they will usually have more cards to look at as the game progresses. The game will be slower. The game will go into turn 6, 7, 8 sometimes.
Yeah, their opening turns will not be as optimal.
Yes. So the game slow down.
Otherwise.
And that means Steven gets access to more cards, draw steps, more chances to find removal spells. And because Scott's deck is not creature dense, he'll draw more non-creature cards, and Steven will draw more removal spells. So Glistener Elf for Scott, turn 1. He did not look happy with his hand. And there's a Gut Shot off the top. Perfect card. Alright. Gut Shot takes care of Glistener Elf. Grave Crawler's
no
in play.
cost whatsoever because it's playing against an infect deck.
And there's an Ichor Mirror. And all Scott's like, just please let this one live. Please let me untap with it.
I don't think it's going to, though.
Alright, there is a Horror. Pops down that Ichor Mirror.
And for 2, does Scott have another guy?
He does. He has a Blight Mamba. He is running the one Blight Mamba, so your Green Sun Zeniths can go for a 2-drop when you want regeneration to matter.
Yeah, and he's about to get Verdicted here if Steven has another black mana, but he does not. What a Mortar Pod. We're going to deal with that Blight Mamba. Rancor going back to Scott Markinson's hand there.
Actually, looking through his list, I missed this. It looks to be 4 Blight Mambas. He's actually running the whole 16 infect creatures.
Just wants a bunch of guys.
It's not a bad place to be with infect right now. It's not a gimmick deck anymore. It's a real deck. People are concerned with it. Gravecrawler gets in with 1, in for 2, and gets equipped to the Mortar Pod, so that now is a removal spell to any 1/1.
And it's a removal spell that he can return to play, too.
Yes. Here's 2 mana. Here's a Blight. Oh, Ichor Mirror. There's a Rancor.
Surprisingly,
He didn't respond to it to get rid of the Rancor. I don't know. I think Scott was okay with losing the Rancor just to not take the 2 damage, maybe. Oh, and he knew it was gonna... I mean, Steven did get an extra 2 damage in, which isn't terrible.
but
Wow. Steven is missing lands, doesn't have access to anything that can kill that, and that's 3 damage.
yeah, I mean, as soon as he gets another black mana, he'll be fine because he has Liliana and even a red mana, he'll be fine because he has Shatter.
Oh, just in time.
Yeah, so yeah, we can expect Liliana or something like that to come down.
Yeah, Liliana is by far the most powerful spell he can play right here because not only will it for sure kill it through an Apostle's Blessing, but then he can start eating away at Scott's hand, get rid of that
and
Rancor.
Scott drew many more lands than him in the early stages of the game, so now Scott's hand is going to be much emptier.
Yes.
Stevens, so.
There's a Cathedral of War, not going to do anything.
Not very good here. And now that Steven has that red and double black, and the Gets Verdict.
Yeah, this game is just going to be...
Yeah, it's looking like Steven's just going to run away with this one.
Carrion Call off the top? No. Yeah, this messenger puts Scott at 7. Plays another messenger.
Scott down to 5.
And that's
Scott's
the game.
just about dead. And is that it?
Should be. Oh, he has an ink moth to block with.
Not where you want to be, but
Yeah, he can't even Apostle's Blessing. He was thinking that maybe he can Apostle's Blessing to keep it alive. But then Liliana can not only eat it, but... Alright, the
he also
game's
just
over.
dies to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So they're just talking, yeah. Steven takes the match, dropping Scott to 4-1. Steven goes to 5-0 with black-red zombies. These games in Standard are just going fast.
Yeah, lightning fast matches here. That entire match taking less than 13 minutes.
I actually did a
complete.
podcast, one of my first podcasts since I did Meta Magic like a year and a half ago with the guys over at Horde of Notions. And we were talking about like how do we build decks and what do we really worry about. And what I talked about was how fast the games actually play out. Like you concern yourself with what is that turn that if you aren't interacting or assembling your own strategy, that you're just going to fall away. Like you're either going to be too slow or you're not going to be able to react fast enough, things like that. And the crazy thing is in Standard, it used to be 2-4-6. Last year it was Stoneforge Mystic, Cobblade, or Squadron Hawks, or Lotus Cobras into 4-drops that were Jace and of Titans that were 6. That was like last year. But now it's 1-3-5. So we do have another match that, let's try to recreate this board. Yeah.
So we have Andrew Ashton, who is playing Mono Green Infect, looking like he's bashing in for a huge amount of infectious damage.
Yeah.
He's playing against Jeremy Fields, who's playing Wolf Run Blue. Jeremy's going to activate an Ink Moth Nexus